There is a wisdom that does not announce itself with noise, and there is strength that does not shout to be seen. The most powerful women in the world are not always the loudest, the most expressive, or the most revealing. They are the ones who understand that protection often begins with discretion and preservation begins with silence. In a world that encourages constant exposure, oversharing, and emotional display, a smart woman learns early that not everything sacred should be public, and not everything private should be explained. Wisdom teaches her that access must be earned, not granted, and that her life is not a public courtroom where everyone gets to hear the evidence of her soul. The first thing a smart woman keeps private is her inner battles. She understands that not everyone who asks, "How are you?" is equipped to carry the weight of her truth. She may be facing fear, disappointment, unanswered prayers, or silent tears, but she does not scatter her pain among people who cannot interpret it with love. She has learned that some people do not listen to understand. They listen to judge, compare, or gossip. So she guards her struggles, not because she is fake, but because she is wise. She knows that vulnerability is powerful only in safe hands. When pain is exposed to the wrong ears, it can be turned into a weapon, a label, or a limitation placed upon her destiny. She also knows that battles are often won in private before they are celebrated in public. There is a strength that grows when a woman learns to pray quietly, cry softly, and stand up again without an audience. Her healing does not require public validation. Her restoration does not need approval. She trusts that the one who sees in secret rewards openly, and that her strength is being built even when no one knows the cost. By keeping her inner battles private, she protects her peace, her dignity, and her faith. She refuses to let temporary weakness become permanent definition. The second thing a smart woman keeps private is her future plans and divine visions. Not everyone needs to know where she is going, what she is building, or what she believes is unfolding in her life. Dreams are delicate in their early stages, and premature exposure can suffocate them. She has learned that some people cannot celebrate what they do not understand, and others will unconsciously speak fear into what requires faith. So she moves quietly, strategically, and with discernment. She allows her results to speak louder than her announcements. She understands that vision attracts opposition before it attracts support. When plans are shared too early, they invite unnecessary opinions, discouragement, and comparison. A smart woman protects her vision the way a gardener protects a seed, covering it until it is strong enough to break the soil. She does not seek validation for what has already been confirmed in her spirit. She trusts the process even when it is slow, hidden, and misunderstood. She knows that what is truly ordained cannot be stopped by silence, but it can be delayed by noise. This kind of privacy is not secrecy rooted in fear. It is discipline rooted in wisdom. She is not hiding because she doubts. She is protecting because she believes. She understands timing, and she respects the power of patience. When the moment comes, when the fruit is visible and undeniable, no explanation will be required. Until then, she walks forward without broadcasting every step. The third thing a smart woman keeps private is her emotional access. She does not give everyone permission to affect her heart. She understands that emotions are energy, and energy must be managed. Not everyone deserves to know what moves her, what hurts her, or what excites her. She has learned that emotional availability without discernment leads to exhaustion, disappointment, and loss of identity. So she establishes boundaries, not walls, but gates. And gates open only for those who prove they can be trusted. She does not confuse attention with affection or familiarity with loyalty. She listens more than she speaks. She observes patterns, not promises. She understands that words are easy, but consistency reveals character. By guarding her emotional world, she protects her self-worth. She does not allow manipulation, guilt, or pressure to dictate her choices. She knows who she is, and she does not negotiate her value to be accepted. This emotional wisdom allows her to love deeply without losing herself. It allows her to give without being drained, to care without being controlled, and to serve without being exploited. She understands that her heart is sacred ground, not a public space. Those who enter must do so with respect, integrity, and honor. A woman who lives this way is not cold, she is conscious. She is not distant, she is discerning. Her silence is not weakness, it is strength under control. She knows that her life is a testimony, and testimonies are not written in chaos but in order. She understands that protection is not about hiding from life, but about stewarding it wisely. In a culture that rewards exposure, she chooses wisdom. In a world that demands explanations, she chooses peace. She does not feel the need to defend every choice, explain every delay, or reveal every emotion. She trusts that what is meant for her will recognize her without her chasing it. She believes that alignment does not require noise, and destiny does not require public opinion. And as she walks this path, she becomes unshakable. Because when storms come, there is less that can be used against her. When opposition rises, there is little they know about her strategy. When success arrives, it surprises those who underestimated her silence. She stands secure, not because life is perfect, but because she is protected by wisdom. This is the strength of a smart woman. Not what she shows, but what she safeguards. Not what she says, but what she understands. Not how much she reveals, but how well she preserves what matters most. She understands that privacy is not isolation, and wisdom is not loneliness. It is alignment. It is knowing where to pour her words and where to withhold them. She does not feel pressured to respond to every opinion or defend herself against every misunderstanding. Silence becomes her filter. Observation becomes her shield. She realizes that when a woman speaks too much about her wounds, people begin to relate to her from the place of her pain instead of her purpose. So she lets her growth speak, not her grievances. There is a maturity that comes when a woman no longer needs sympathy to survive. She has learned that sympathy can sometimes trap her in the identity of a victim, while wisdom lifts her into the posture of victory. She chooses strength even when no one applauds it. She chooses faith when emotions beg for release. And in that quiet choosing, her character is refined. She becomes rooted, not reactive. Calm, not chaotic. Intentional, not impulsive. She also understands that not every relationship deserves full transparency. Some connections are seasonal, some are situational, and some are simply observers. A smart woman discerns the difference. She does not hand over sensitive information to people who have not proven loyalty. She does not confuse proximity with intimacy. Just because someone is close does not mean they are safe. Just because someone listens does not mean they care. So she measures trust over time, not words spoken in a moment. She has seen how quickly shared information can become shared opinion, how private tears can become public stories, how honest confessions can become gossip disguised as concern. And instead of becoming bitter, she becomes better. She learns the art of selective disclosure. She speaks life where there is faith. She speaks truth where there is maturity. And where there is neither, she chooses silence without guilt. This wisdom also shapes how she responds to success. She does not announce every breakthrough the moment it happens. She knows that favor attracts envy before it attracts understanding. So she allows her elevation to settle before she exposes it. She lets consistency establish credibility. She lets time confirm what words never could. When people finally notice, it is not because she announced it, but because it can no longer be hidden. She understands that celebration is safer after establishment. That applause is sweeter when it comes after endurance. She is not in a hurry to be seen, she is committed to becoming. And that commitment requires privacy. Growth needs space, transformation needs time, and purpose needs protection. Even in moments of disappointment, she resists the urge to broadcast frustration. She processes privately so she can respond wisely. She knows that words spoken in pain often return with consequences. So she pauses, she reflects, she allows her spirit to regain clarity before her mouth gains volume. This self-control becomes one of her greatest strengths. It keeps her from unnecessary conflicts, and protects her from regret. She learns that peace is expensive, and she is willing to pay the price. The price of not explaining herself to people who are committed to misunderstanding her. The price of not reacting when provoked. The price of letting go of the need to be right in order to remain whole. And in doing so, she becomes free. Free from emotional debt, free from relational chaos, free from internal noise. Her privacy becomes her sanctuary, not a place of hiding, but a place of preparation. It is where she renews her mind, strengthens her faith, and realigns her focus. It is where she remembers who she is when the world tries to define her by opinions, labels, or past mistakes. And because she protects this space, she remains grounded even when life becomes demanding. She understands that not everyone deserves access to her joy either. Joy is fragile when surrounded by cynicism. So she celebrates with those who can rejoice without comparison. She laughs with those who are not threatened by her light. She shares victories with those who pray during her silence. This selectiveness preserves her joy and keeps her gratitude pure. And so she continues walking quietly powerful, deeply rooted, emotionally intelligent, spiritually aware. She is not reckless with her words, her heart, or her future. She knows that wisdom is not loud, and strength does not need permission. She understands that the most protected woman is not the one who reveals everything, but the one who knows exactly what to keep private. She becomes aware that restraint is a form of authority. The ability to hold back words, emotions, and reactions gives her command over situations that once controlled her. She no longer feels the urge to correct every missoon, to standing or expose every lie told about her. She understands that truth does not panic and integrity does not rush. Time has a way of revealing what explanations never could. So she allows silence to do its work, trusting that what is real will remain and what is false will eventually collapse under its own weight. This wisdom also shapes how she handles rejection. She does not announce her disappointments or seek public validation for private wounds. She processes rejection as redirection. She knows that not every closed door is an attack. Some are protection. By keeping these moments private, she preserves her confidence. She refuses to let temporary setbacks become public scars. Instead, she allows growth to happen quietly, strengthening her discernment and refining her focus. She has learned that when too many people know your struggles, too many people feel entitled to advise you. And not all advice is wisdom. Some counsel is rooted in fear, some in jealousy, and some in personal limitation. A smart woman understands that she must be careful whose voice she allows to shape her decisions. So she limits access to her process. She listens selectively. She filters opinions through prayer, reflection, and inner conviction. What aligns, she keeps. What confuses, she discards. Her emotional discipline gives her clarity. She does not allow momentary feelings to dictate permanent decisions. She understands that emotions are real, but not always reliable. By keeping them private during intense seasons, she gives herself space to think clearly and respond wisely. She refuses to be led by impulse. She chooses intention over reaction, wisdom over urgency. She also understands the danger of emotional transparency in environments that reward vulnerability but exploit weakness. She has seen how openness without discernment can lead to manipulation. So she remains kind-wit, without being naive, open without being exposed, loving without being unguarded. This balance becomes her strength. She is approachable but not accessible to everyone. She is warm but not careless. Her privacy teaches people how to treat her because she does not overshare. People learn to respect her boundaries because she does not explain herself excessively. People learn to take her seriously because she does not beg for understanding. People learn that she is secure in who she is. Her silence communicates confidence. Her restraint commands respect. She no longer feels the need to compete for attention or approval. She knows that value is not proven by visibility and purpose is not validated by applause. She understands that the most meaningful work often happens behind the scenes. So she builds quietly, She grows steadily, she advances consistently, and when her life speaks, it speaks with weight. She becomes a woman who is not easily shaken, because there is less exposed, there is less to attack. Because there is less revealed, there is less to manipulate. Her wisdom becomes her covering, her discernment becomes her defense, and her restraint becomes her strength. And so, beloved, the life of a smart woman is a lesson in wisdom, strength, and divine alignment. She understands that what she keeps private is not a weakness, but a weapon. It is not a limitation, but a layer of protection that allows her to thrive in a world full of noise and distraction. By guarding her inner battles, preserving her visions, and controlling her emotional access, she honors herself, her calling, and the destiny that has been placed within her. She does not need the approval of the crowd, the validation of the world, or the attention of those who do not have her best interest at heart. Her life is a testimony of discipline, faith, and intentional living. And as she continues to wow, in this wisdom, she becomes unstoppable. Not because life has been easy, but because she has learned the power of discretion, the beauty of patience, and the strength that comes from protecting what truly matters. Let every woman listening today take this to heart. Your life, your dreams, and your heart are sacred. Guard them, protect them, keep them for those who truly deserve access. And in doing so, you will live a life of purpose, power, and divine fulfillment.